Alright, y'all. We finna put the stone on this baby here. We finna try to see if we can't get it sharpened on up. Now that I kind of got this the way I want it. Y'all remember how dented and busted up that side was? All that's left is one little dimple. But anyway, we're gonna sharpen this up a little bit. And while I got my stone and all my stuff out, I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen up my machete. It's been used a good little bit, so I know it needs some sharpening. So that's what we're gonna be working on here. Let me jump on it. I should have did it before on this edge because it was nicked up pretty good. All I'm doing is taking my stone and working it up and down the edge, working it up and down the edge on like in a circular motion. But I really need a hockey puck to do this, and I'm no good at it with something this big going back and forth. I'll skin up the side so it's easier for me to do that. Let me show you how I'm doing it. Alright, you see, this is how I like to do it on a big axe head, or anything bigger than a pocket knife or a chisel or something like that. I need to put more bevel in it this way. I got plenty on this side, but I need more going this way. I'm sitting here looking at it. Just put a little bit more of that in there. I'd rather take on stuff this big. I'd rather take the stone to the blade instead of the blade to the stone. I know plenty of people that can do it better the other way, but I can't do that. I really need a hockey puck stone that's about a third of the size of this bar and shaped, you know, like a hockey puck. I was in there listening to the one of the press conferences and everything that I have every day. I'm gonna go back around this way. And of course, everybody's mad at China. Why China didn't divulge more or share more information than they have been. But you know, China's always been like that. China's always been real secretive and real kind of paranoid and everything, even before the communists come in. Reminds me of Admiral Zheng. Admiral Zheng He from China. He was a Chinese explorer who made Columbus look like a small fry. In the early 1400s, Zheng commanded a fleet of 300 vessels, some nearly 5 times the size of Columbus's ships. If y'all ever do any research, look at some of them ancient Chinese vessels that they had. Them things were huge, humongous. Like I said, his ships were served by 28,000 men. 300 ships served by 28,000 men. As compared to the 90 men on the Nina and the Pinta and the Santa Maria that Columbus had. Over the course of 7 voyages, Zheng's fleet journeyed as far as the southern tip of Africa, not in search of treasure or trade, but to show off the might and the power of the Ming dynasty. There's even a possibility that he might have even gone further, sailing a huge fleet around the Cape of Good Hope and piloting it as far as Europe or even across the Atlantic to the Caribbean, all more than 75 years before the voyages of Columbus. Just as remarkable as the boldness of these exploits is the speed with which they came to an end. In 1433, shortly after Zheng's last voyage, Confucian scholars convinced the emperor that such expeditions were too costly and that China should turn its focus inward and isolate itself from the rest of the world. Does that sound familiar? By 1500, the Chinese court had made it a capital offense to even build an ocean-going ship, and struck Admiral Zheng's accomplishments from the official record. As Europe was broadening its exploits and horizons and sending explorers out all across the globe, China was closing its doors. we could be living in a completely different world if they hadn't been so closed-minded. Zheng's biggest ship was in truth was a treasure ship. It was like 440 feet long. It was powered by 9 masts. It had 9 masts. When most of the vessels, European vessels of the day, were lucky to have 5. The ship was loaded with gold. It traded with silver and oils and silks, and the Chinese gave these as gifts to other countries to show off their own wealth and power. He even come back with a bunch of wild animals sometimes. He brought back, let's see, a giraffe, all kinds of wild animals he brought back from his voyages. It's pretty neat. I mean, you don't hear about stuff like that because why? Because China closes their borders. Not only do they close their borders, they shut off the entire outside world. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's looking better. Yeah, that's looking better. Let's see how sharp it is. It's starting to want to put a little edge on. I still got a chip here I got to try to get out. There's a chip here I got to try to get out. But that feels good. All right. I'm going to work on it some more. I brought my machete in here too. I'm going to try to sharpen it too. All right, I got the chip and everything out of it. It's had a couple of chips in the blade. Y'all hear that thing? Had some chips in it. So I take my old baby here. Start off with the 200. I don't like to put a whole lot of pressure on it. I just kind of like to rub it over the top like this, because if I put too much pressure on it, I'll screw it up. It's the truth. I'm gonna swap over to the yellow. Look out. The yellow's, I think, 300 grit. Green. Green. I know you don't give a flip about watching me do this, so I'll get it back whenever I get it done. Well, I've done all I'm going to do to that darn hatchet head. I polished it up and everything. So now I got my machete. I don't think I've ever put an edge on this machete. I think that's just the stock edge on it. Oh, shoot. Cut my darn finger, I know that, Jack. That was from the hatchet. Hatchet's still in pretty good, I mean the machete here is still in pretty decent shape. I know when I got it, it had one heck of an edge on it. I went and stuck it in a tree, and it took me 2 or 3 minutes just to wiggle it out of the tree. Just to kind of, you know, whenever you're not using it, you don't want to stick it in the ground. So I just whacked it into a tree, and it went so darn deep. That's why I don't like the hatchets to have that, I mean, a paper cutting sharp edge on it. It's because you go to stick it in a tree, it take you 10 minutes to get the darn thing out. I'm gonna have to get me a big camera. Ow! They come. That side's sharp, darn it. You hear the sounds rough. You can tell. You can tell when you can just about go by sound. Whenever it sounds rough and then it starts smoothing out, it has a crisper sound to it. Hear that? Go ahead and listen to this. See how it's gritty? Now it's starting to smooth on out a little bit. Hear that? If you don't go by feel, you can go by sound, because like I said, you can hear it kind of real gritty, and then you can hear it when it starts to get real smooth. It'll smooth on out. I think it's going to do it. What do you think?